This is your sign. We are all stories in the end. It's up to you what your story will be. Hi, welcome back to Sweet Infinity. My name is Kieran. I'm on a 30-day quest to read from my tarot decks or my oracle decks, tell you about the artwork that's on there, the meaning of the cards, and do an interpretation of the reading and see if that resonates for you. Today I'm going to be reading from the Tarot of the Divine. This is a gorgeous deck. I've talked about it before on my channel. It comes with a little guidebook. Each of the cards in this deck has associated with it a myth or a story or a legend from around the world. So it's quite amazing how the artist, whose name is Yoshitani, they took images and stories from around the world and incorporated them into the traditional tarot deck meaning for each card. Kind of amazing how it calibrates in that way. Anyway, I'm going to shuffle and we'll get started. I hope you're enjoying my channel. There's lots of other videos on here and I'll be making more. So if you could subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, that'll be great because then you'll get notified every time I upload a new video. And please like the video. That's a thumbs up right underneath the video, and also share it. Post the link somewhere if you are interested in sharing it with your friends, family, whoever on your social media accounts. Okay, I'm going to pick 3 cards again today, and I will read the descriptions for the cards, and then I will do a reading of those cards together for you. So the 3 cards for today are Knight of Coins, also known as Pentacles, or Knight of Coins or Pentacles. The 7 of Swords and the High Priestess. The Knight of Coins, 7 of Swords, and the High Priestess. Interesting. So I'm going to read from the book and then we'll do an interpretation together. In this deck, the Knight of Coins is represented by Hatsi Abib. I hope I'm saying that correctly. South African Khoikhoi deity. The Knight of Coins is a diligent warrior who is willing to put in the work to set the world right. Hatsi Abib can be seen as stubborn as an ox, getting into trouble for his efforts. He is strong, loyal, and determined in all things he sets his mind to. Ambition, hard work, persistence, being efficient. That's the keywords. Let's look at 7 of Swords. The 7 of Swords is represented by Coyote, Pacific Northwest Salish legend. The 7 of Swords is a trickster, and the coyote represents deceit in all forms, from small pranks to terrible scandals. He's clever and manipulative, but more often than not, he is caught by his own schemes and has to pay dearly for them. Strategy, cunning, thievery, cheating, or manipulation are the keywords. And last but not least, we have the High Priestess. Scheherazade, Arabic folktale. The High Priestess is a keeper of vast knowledge. With a story for every situation, Scheherazade asks the listener to focus on what their subconscious tells them, encouraging them to form their own conclusions. Her power is vast yet subtle. Her answers always mysterious. Wisdom, intuition, dreams, meandering, and enigma. Cool. Now, these 3 cards, of course, are represented in this deck by these particular stories. But these 3 cards in the traditional tarot sense have their own meanings. And these stories that this writer, this creator of the deck, chose specifically because these characters in these myths and legends correspond with the traditional tarot deck stories, because the traditional tarot is full of archetypes and symbols that are represented in many different stories in many different people's lives. These are things that are very universal, experiences that almost everybody goes through at some point or another. For example, this one represents manipulation, deceit, cheating, something hidden. You see this coyote, he's hiding something, he's hiding secrets from somebody maybe who needs to know about the secrets. There's a shadow here who's very menacingly laughing, because this is the card of deceit. This is the card of something hidden. So whether it's you who's hiding something, maybe you know a secret that could really benefit people by people knowing them, or somebody else has hidden something from you, this is about deceit. And what's interesting in this reading is that these 2 are actually they couldn't be more different, these 2 characters. Because this one, the Knight of Pentacles or Knight of Coins, the coins are the earth sign, the earth suit. In the Knight of Coins, or the Knight of Pentacles, or the Knight of Earth, he or she or they is a very upright figure. This is an activist, somebody who is very earnest, who is a true believer, who genuinely, earnestly wants to fight for the good cause, the right thing that they believe. So this is somebody who's very different from that. They're actually opposite in some way. But as Carl Jung would tell us, a lot of times, whatever we think we are, inside of us, there is a shadow side. There is the opposite, and we can either integrate that, and if you are somebody who is developing yourself, you're going to want to integrate your shadow. You're going to want to at least be aware. Because if you think that you're this, you probably have some of this, and if you think you're this, you probably have some of that. And how are you going to integrate these guys? That's the key. And to me, that's actually a very interesting story, whether it's a story in a narrative form or in a person's personal development. I find that to be a very interesting way to look at it. Nobody is all good. Nobody is all bad. And so how do we reconcile and befriend all parts of ourselves? Maybe this coyote is this way because that's how he learned how to deal with the world. Maybe he was manipulated as well, and so that's how he learned, that's how you deal with the world. That's how you protect yourself, is you keep secrets. You hide the things that could be used against somebody someday, things like that. And this person learned that, no, you have to fight for what's right at all costs, no matter what happens. And you have to just tell the truth and be very upright and upfront all the time. And both of them are coming, maybe this person was also manipulated and this person decided to kind of never be like that. They could be siblings, in fact. One decided to play the game and one decided, no, I will never play that game. And they might not even like each other because they see each other as the opposite of themselves. This one sees this one as manipulative and untrustworthy. And this one sees this one as a goody two-shoes and somebody who's just faking it. All kinds of things are possible. In this scenario, what I would suggest is that whichever one you in your heart of hearts know you are more of, allow yourself to get in touch with the other one. Because somebody who is like this all the time needs to get in touch with the fact that maybe there's parts of them that they're trying to avoid. Maybe either they have done something in the past or might have some tendencies to do something that they don't want to face. At the same time, if this is how somebody lives their life, I would suggest that that person, understand that they can't be happy with doing this all the time. Backbiting, gossiping, keeping secrets. A part of them wants to be a better person, wants to be seen as somebody who can be trusted, who has integrity. It's a question of these two sides, and I would argue that these sides exist in almost everyone, that we have to constantly negotiate between these two. This is like all about self-interest. On the extreme, I would say, where it can be almost pathological, where even if it's not in their self-interest, they keep manipulating people. And that can be very, very toxic. And then this is somebody who is very, very serious, very ethical, wants to fight the good fight. But that can also be toxic because they leave no room for imperfection, for self-interest. They maybe have self-interest, but they don't want to even admit it. That might come out in very distorted ways if they're not careful. Because you have to balance your self-interest and your empathy. If you have too much of either one, I think it's a distortion of human capacity, and you're going to end up veering towards the other. Or having a shadow that haunts you. That part is your shadow. So in the Carl Jungian sense, whichever part you're ignoring, that's the shadow. Now, what's interesting is the High Priestess comes in. The High Priestess is the keeper of intuition. Again, these are not necessarily gendered, these characters. They are represented as certain characters, but it's not like only women can be high priestesses or only men can be knights or anything. The tarot is about symbology, and these are things that everyone goes through in one way or another at different points of life. So the high priestess represents intuition, mystical secrets, esoteric knowledge about the person's spiritual side. And in here she's represented as Scheherazade, who is the storyteller of the 1001 Arabian Nights. The queen who told a story every night and then left her husband with a cliffhanger because her husband was into killing his wives. So this way she kept herself alive. The High Priestess in the tarot deck is all about trusting yourself, trusting your inner voice, trusting your dreams, trusting your intuition, your way of connecting with the mystical, with the great grand universe, however you want to call it, with God. So the High Priestess is a very, very deeply spiritual, deeply mystical person who invites you to listen to your physical and mental and spiritual wisdom. By that I mean your body, your muscle memory has wisdom. When you feel a certain emotion, you can identify, if you pay attention, where you feel it in your body. And you can even communicate with that part of your body, ask it what it needs. Maybe it needs to sleep. Maybe it needs to rest a certain way. Maybe it needs to move a certain way. That's your physical intuition, and your mental intuition is where you think thoughts, but you try to direct them a little bit more. Instead of letting thoughts go wherever they want, you can try to have a conversation with your thoughts, observe your thoughts. You could do it through meditation, journaling, and then spiritual intuition is where you just listen to that inner voice. And that is usually attained through deep meditation or some kind of trance-like state or a dream state. So that's the high priestess. She's the carrier of mystical wisdom and intuition. She's the gateway to intuition. Now, these two characters, I said that they are opposites, or at least one is the shadow of the other, it feels like to me, because one is all about integrity, trust, loyalty, and then this one is all about deceit, manipulation, self-interest, cunningness. It could be about strategy. This character's strategic thinking could be put to good use if they combine forces. And that's where the high priestess comes in. Because the high priestess is a character or a part of yourself that is relying more on intuition and not on like trying to figure out every little detail. Which means that there are times when things that seem irreconcilable can be reconciled by intuition. They might never be able to be reconciled in a rational way, but through intuition, whether you want to call it love, attraction, integration, magic, but something happens where these two figures or these two aspects of yourself, however you want to look at it, will learn to combine their forces. Will learn to combine the best of both of them. And will temper each other's extreme capability to be too nice and too manipulative. You have to have the part of you that is loyal, has integrity, that is real. And then you have to have the part of you that can understand strategy and how to do the things you want to do. Because this guy will just go bumbling in head first, no strategy. He has good intentions, but he doesn't really know how to win, how to get things done. And then this guy is like the anti-hero. And so he's all strategy, but he's very bad. He has bad motivation. He's like Han Solo. If he can be tempered with someone like that, and then you put the high priestess here with intuition, love, connection, inner wisdom, you got a winning team. And these are all aspects of you. They could be external people, but they could also be internal people. That's what I'm getting from this reading, the Tarot of the Divine. It's pretty cool, huh? Check it out. I'm going to put links on the bottom here. If you can go through my affiliate links, if you're going to purchase it, I'd really appreciate it. I get a tiny little amount from your purchase. You don't have to pay anything extra. I hope that this was useful and interesting and that it hit a chord with you. Please come back and I will do more readings for you. Meanwhile, please share and subscribe to this channel. I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought. And take care of yourself and take care of each other and have a sweet infinity.